What is good, PUMA Tech Talk, and today we're taking a look at the brand spanking new PUMA ONE that takes over from the evoSPEED and the evoTOUCH. So two boots in one basically. But there might, understandably so, be some people out there who are a bit confused about what the PUMA ONE actually is made for and how it's built. So today, we're gonna take a look under the hood of this very boot to see if it's the one and only, or just, the one. When Puma set out to create the PUMA ONE, they wanted to make sure that it covered both fit, fast, and feel, so a lot of aspects in one boot. And they kind of looked at it like you would look at a burger. You got the bun, you got the meat, and you got the cheese. And you don't really want one without the other.
But I also want the bacon.
And the man has a point, but I'm gonna get back to that later, because making sure that they get all the different aspects into the one boot, Puma kind of looked to their fast boot first, the evoSPEED, which they combined with the PUMA evoTOUCH, which provided the fit and the feel. And despite these two boot concepts and the aspects not really going that well together, Puma wanted to create a boot where you get everything in the same package. Basically, two boots in one, pun intended. The upper on the one is made primarily out of two pieces, and it does seem to take a little bit of inspiration from the construction on the PUMA evoTOUCH. And when I say a little, I mean a lot, because it's pretty similar. And that is because you once again get this inner evoKNIT sock that sits in the heel and the midfoot to give you a close, personal, distractionless, and seamless fit. And as the name suggests, it's there to really cover the fit part of the fast fit and feel thing. But unlike on the evoTOUCH, the evoKNIT sock doesn't run the entire full length of the inside of the boot, because it is cut off just after where the laces end and where the first seam begins, just like we see it on the Jumbo Legend 7 and the Adidas X17 Plus Pure Speed. And it's basically been cut off to make sure that your foot gets as close to the leather in the forefoot as possible. And speaking of the leather here, the forefoot is made of what Puma call the Legend leather, which they say is premium and lightweight. And it might be, but what it's not is kangaroo leather. Now I would hazard a guess without knowing and say that this is calf leather, but to be fair, with that said, it is a very soft and extremely pliable calf leather. I have to be fair here, I've just taken this out of the box, and as you can see, it is really soft, really follows the movement of my fingers. Now on the inside, Puma has equipped the Legend leather with this extremely soft and very plush inner liner to give you that soft, damp, and elegant touch on the ball that you would expect now that the leather has this lovely good thickness to it. What's interesting though is that the Legend leather is considerably thicker than what we saw on the Evo Power and of course the evoSPEED, which was paper thin, so it doesn't really count. But it still seems to me that Puma have consciously gone after giving you this soft, padded, really elegant touch on the ball. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, not at all. If you're into that sort of thing, it's very lovely. But if you're out there expecting to get more of that crisp, close, really clean sensation on the ball that you got in the evoTOUCH and especially in the evoSPEED, that's probably not what you're gonna get in the PUMA ONE. On the other hand, it might be a pretty good alternative to the very close and clean touch you get in the Evo Power Vigor. And it might seem to me that perhaps Puma wanted to bring back that suave elegance of the plush leather to the game. Who knows? With the plush leather kinda covering the feel part of the PUMA ONE, we're gonna jump back to fit a little bit. Because the last piece of technology on the upper is this here lace loop strap system that basically acts as a seatbelt for your foot. And speaking of the Puma King, it kind of reminds me of the evoFit technology that we saw on the Puma King 2 before they killed it off. What it basically does is that these straps are connected to the sole plate, and while you pull your laces tight, the straps go in and wrap the top of your foot to keep it securely locked on the plate to give you a better stability, less rollover, and a more responsive boot all in all. So the lace straps actually take care both of the fit part of the boot, but also a little bit of the fast part. That's clever. The sole plate is the area that really covers the fast part of the boot because it is built for raw speed. And Puma have done that by giving you a very thin, impressively lightweight P-Bax plate that is extremely stiff and rigid to give you the best responsiveness you can get. And you know, the more stiff a plate is and the more responsive it is, the easier it is for the boot to actually follow the movements of your foot, and thus you get a more efficient energy usage. So there's that, but of course the comfort is going to be less, so you're going to have to live with that. Also though, Puma say that they made the stud shape and especially the stud placement so that it's optimized for acceleration. But looking at it, it's something I'm, a bit baffled about. I haven't seen it before and I'm quite interested in how it will work. Because normally, if we look at the two studs here with the arrow shape under the midfoot, I would assume that in order to get the most aggressive acceleration, you want studs that actually face in the opposite direction, that actually have the arrow going that way instead of that way. Because with the arrow going that way, when you plant your foot in the ground and you kind of push backwards, with the arrow and the pointy part pointing backwards, the boot will kind of plow itself back through the ground a little bit, not giving you as much grip as you want. Whereas if it had pointed the other way, with the bigger flat surfaces on the backside, you would get a larger surface to push off through the ground. But who knows, maybe I've missed something and there might be a reason that I'm not designing boots at Puma. It might be really good for braking though, so maybe that's what they wanted. But as always, we're gonna see how it works when I test it out if you really become fast. So the Puma One is an interesting little football boot that I gotta say, I think it looks really good in the heel area. The rest of the boot, I'm not that sure about, but I'm gonna let you guys decide. But the Puma One here is, as I've mentioned, made to really replace the evoSPEED and the evoTOUCH. But to be honest, it feels a little bit more like the evoTOUCH 2.0 than the love child of the evoSPEED and the evoTOUCH. So if you are wearing the evoSPEED and just want to jump straight into the Puma One, you might want to think again because it's not going to be a one-to-one swap. On the other hand, if you do like this soft, padded, elegant touch on the ball and you want a really comfortable boot, because in all honesty, it might be worthy of a look. But I really want to know what you guys think of the Puma One. If you give me your honest first impression down in the comment section below, and you remember to subscribe by hitting the green bubble over my head, I'm gonna give away a Puma One to a lucky winner. Also, don't forget to leave me a like if you had a good time, and spread the word by sharing the video with your friends. And with that, I'm signing off. Cheerio.